All right, so this is just a quick review of using the preterite or the imperfect. Again, we have two simple past tenses in Spanish. Simple meaning that they involve only one word, but they aren't interchangeable. You use the preterite for some to indicate some things and the imperfect to indicate others. So let's get started. When do you use it? So our decisions. When you want to use the preterite, you're usually talking about a single event, beginning or an ending. When you want to use the imperfect, again, it's that idea of recurring action or ongoing action or an incompleted action. So using the imperfect, it's for incomplete actions, something that was happening when something else interrupted it. A habitual action, that idea of something I used to do. Or when you're describing a person, a place, or a thing, the weather, or telling time. Again, all these things are sort of ongoing or background information. So for example, using the imperfect, we might say, it was a dark and stormy night. The princess was beautiful and intelligent. She was talking to her hero. So for all of these things, we would be using the imperfect tense if I were speaking in Spanish. To talk about the weather, to talk about describing a person, and this idea that she was talking to her hero. We're setting the scene. For the preterite, however, we might have an interrupted action when the enemy entered the palace, fought with the warrior, and carried away the princess. All of these are single events and a series of single events. So how do I know when to use one thing or the other? Well, some key phrases might be useful to you to help you out to figure out when you're using one thing or the other. So for the preterite tense, again, with a specific time, you might use yesterday, ayer, last night, anoche, last year, el año pasado, last month, el mes pasado, in a specific year, like 1492, en 1492. You're using use it when something happened at a specific time. Don't confuse this with telling time, because that would go over on the imperfect. So other frequency phrases that would indicate the imperfect would be things like always, never, sometimes, often, siempre, nunca, a veces, a menudo, or like every summer, todos los veranos. And when you want to tell time, era la una, eran las dos. So when you keep these things in mind, using specific phrases, thinking about what you're trying to say, that will help you to decide which tense you should be using.